Season Classic server to make an early return. We will have to see, I suppose, if SOM comes back for a second time.
Interesting things are happening. A lot of interesting things are happening around the same time at the moment, and either I've gone completely off the deep end like that one guy from the meme, or something is about to be announced. And speaking of announcements, here's a quick word from today's sponsor, Factor 75.
Wow.
Factor 75 offers ready-made meals with a difference, combining the convenience of something you can have ready in no time at all, whilst not compromising on quality.
Holy
Order
macaroni.
in a day, a week, or a month's worth of food in one go, and then just wait for it to arrive. Factor 75 offers keto, low-calorie, vegan, vegetarian options, and more. All you need is somewhere to heat it up, and the time are written on the box.
Not only do you guys... Why am I pausing an ad? Not only do you guys get to watch Twitch ads as well, you get to watch the ads with me too. Wow, guys, this is truly innovative content, eh?
No guesswork on what you need in, no time wasted shopping, preparing and cleaning up, more time for what you love doing instead. Factor 75 delivers food fast, which is prepared by real chefs who know how to deliver delicious, no-nonsense food that can be ready in around 2 minutes.
Amazing.
Not only are Factor 75 meals full of nutritious and good things, but it's also good for your wallet. And planning ahead will mean there's always something healthy to grab, meaning a less reliance on takeouts. Use my link or go to factor75.com and use code POGWILLYNOV60 for 60% off your first box. Many thanks to
that is amazing.
Factor 75 for the sponsor today. Let's talk WoW. Season of Mastery is soon enough coming to an end, having begun on November 16th, 2021, with transfers off currently being available. By the way, if you have a character on Season of Mastery, you should go take a minute to transfer it off, or they're going to be deleted. It is free, after all. The forum and Reddit posts lamenting in their nostalgia have started to make a more noticeable appearance, and there's more of them than I can recall seeing at any point in time.
Dude, I feel like WoW players are like a never-ending, never-ending hungering beast, man. They constantly want new stuff. You guys saw that comment right there? Well, what was it?
To make a more noticeable reappearance.
Any ETA on the next season of Vanilla? I'm so bored with Wrath. And we're like, not even a month in. Dude, people are so like, dude, they're holy.
And there's more of them than I can recall seeing at any point in time in the past. Certainly wasn't anything like this around the time when TBC dropped. Even classic era servers had started seeing a small repopulation.
Really?
Looking way earlier in the year, there would be like 12 or so items on the auction house on the supposed big servers. Now there's several thousand. There's people out in the world leveling. There's a lot.
I just personally feel like being on a Season of Mastery server where all the content is just out and there's nothing else coming, that doesn't interest me. I think a lot of the times with MMOs, the fun thing is looking forward to the next thing, or like, you know, upgrading your character and then coming to a new area and then upgrading again, right? It's that whole constant... It's what they say, like the chase is more funnier than the catch. It's more enjoyable than the catch itself. Like once you have all your stuff, then it's like, then I'm done, right?
Level 60s logging in, looking for things to do. It's not huge.
But leveling also is interesting to you? Yeah, a little bit. I like leveling. There's something wrong with me. But yeah, I do like it a little bit.
Don't get me wrong, compared to Wrath that is, and the era servers will always remain niche due to things such as being fully progressed, no new content, on equal footing for returning players, and so on. But if an environment like that is getting some interest, I think that means something. To top it off, recently we've had a good old reliable leak pop up, claiming amongst other things, Ulduar is in early January, but more relevant to this video, Season of Mastery Season 2 on November 17th. Now there are one or two problems with this, such as the spelling mistakes on Frez. Season of Mastery Season 2 just being called Season 2. I always assumed they would go with Season of insert a new word here. And perhaps biggest of all, as of doing this video, we are about a week out with no announcement, no PTR, and no news whatsoever to build up hype. Saying that,
I mean, there's no way Blizzard would just suddenly drop a bomb on something without telling anyone, right? Because Blizzard is really good with letting us know in advance.
Imagine if they just went and changed a bunch of stuff about Classic, that it's dropping on this date, and no player had tried it till launch. Tell me that wouldn't be hype. Maybe Classic would benefit from no PTR, and if it's buggy, yeah, we can call them features, I suppose, the real Classic experience. On top of that, Dragonflight...
It is true, yeah. You don't really need a PTR, unless they're like genuinely making new content, then yeah, because we've already... I mean, there's been 2 releases of Classic at this point, right? What's up, Kill Station?
Releases on the 28th of November, though to be honest, I don't know how much crossover there really is between a person wanting to try a second seasonal server of Classic and the new retail expansion. They're 2 very different things at this point in time.
Yeah,
and whether anything will happen at all, though, it's important that something does sooner or later for Blizzard and the player base, because at some point with us advancing through expansions, Classic will stop being, well, Classic. A lot of people are here for more than some nostalgia.
I feel like it already is.
About you, but in my experience, you aren't consistently nostalgic whilst engaging with said thing that made you feel that for several years in a row.
Yeah.
I think that's more in the, hey, this thing is actually pretty good territory. And I think at this point we can say Classic has proven far more than just some nostalgia. If that's all it was, the player base would have disappeared a few months after launch.
Yeah,
what I'm saying is a lot of people don't like the direction that the retail version of the game went, and we're in Wrath at the moment, which for me already
I do think though a lot of the stuff from Dragonflight does seem pretty interesting though, to be fair. Obviously, we'll see where it goes, we'll see where it drags in, but you know, I'm definitely gonna give it a whirl, yeah.
Has tons of huge changes, more so than people really attribute to it. Leveling is incredibly easy, you get flooded with loot, multiple raid difficulties, and so on. Soon after Wrath is Kata and the Mists of Pandaria, and who knows, maybe even Warlords of Draenor. For what it's worth, I can see them doing Kata, possibly even Mop, but by then, it really is a different game, isn't it? The Sundering has hit, reworked itemization, leveling taken a backseat to endgame content, and so much more. At which point, if you did want to play a classic version of the game, would you be on Mr. Pandaria, or would you want to see what's happening on, well, classic, as in the...
I am quite intrigued to see, though, if they actually do Kata Classic, how the community will react to it, right? Because I know a lot of people are very vocal about the distaste and dislike of Kata. I don't think Kata necessarily is a bad expansion, though. But, you know, I mean, we'll see. We'll see, obviously, right? People will complain, but still play it. I feel like that's the curse of WoW players. They will complain, but still play, right? But oh, sure, you're done after Wrath. I'll complain and still play it. For me, Classic ends with Wrath. That's true. Yeah, I mean, it's not. It's definitely very different from like the original Classic. It's not really like Classic anymore. It's a very different game. Even just going from TBC to Wrath is very different, right? It's a whole different game already just there. I'll stay for Kata, but only because I want Mop. I never played Mop myself. I played a little bit of Cataclysm back in the day, though. The reason I'm open to Kata is because I never played it in the first place. For me, that's sort of similar too, Otaku. I played Cataclysm for the first few months, and then I quit. Not because I necessarily hated the game, but I just had IRL stuff I would rather do. I know that sounds crazy, but I had like a period of my life where I just wanted to do some IRL things, so I just didn't play Kata for that while, right? And yeah, but I don't think it was bad necessarily, right? We'll see.
The very early versions of the game instead, because for me, so far, the only game like Classic has actually been the OG version, Vanilla. Don't get me wrong, there's things I like about each of the 3 versions of World of Warcraft we have gone through so far, but Classic had by far the best world. Outland and Northrend in comparison are small, and I know it's such a stereotype, but the journey, going from a clueless nub in Northshire Abbey to a fully fledged level 60 adventurer starting on endgame content, things like the moment when you learn your mount to level 40, learning that big new ability such as Whirlwind, the class quest, the zone hopping for the questing, all of these things were great in my opinion, and really...
That's just what Vanilla does so good. Like, the fact, the world building and the world feel and the journey, that is what Vanilla is all about, in my opinion. The leveling, the journey, wandering around the world, that's what it does so well. And whenever there's a new expansion, then it's like, now we take this whole world and put it into Outland, because that's now the end game, right? And then like the whole world becomes useless. That's why it's like Vanilla is so popular, I think, because the world is important, right?
Really built up the world to be something memorable. In TBC,
Vanilla endgame sucks, though. I think vanilla endgame is fun, but it's fun. I don't mind vanilla endgame too much. It's a different endgame than it is now, right? It definitely is. There's a lot of fun to be had in vanilla, I think.
Building on achievements.
I mean, I played it so much.
Though I'd have been fine if there was some kind of account-wide key or something of the likes when exalted with various reputations, just so you could do them on alts a little bit easier. And Wrath of the Lich King for me absolutely clears the other two on moment-to-moment gameplay. Hybrids are more than just viable. Mana bars aren't a restriction to gameplay, and there's more to every single class than a single button.
That's true.
I could certainly see myself trying Classic again, but another full year of pressing Curse of Recklessness on a mob, the warriors running and deleting in 4 seconds, and me being unable to reach hit cap on my 1-button rotation till over halfway through the expansion. Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm too sold on that, actually. And
I wouldn't be really opposed to, like, you know, leveling in vanilla and getting that whole experience and stuff, but I don't think I would grind it as I have, right? I don't think I would. I do think it would be fun, but I've said this before, but the thought of, like, grinding AQ40 every week, it doesn't sound too fun, and, like, you know, stuff like that to me. But vanilla with class and balance changes would be sick. Yes, like an actual vanilla plus could be fun. Maybe a second time around, if they do a second season of mastery, they could make more changes and make it more, like, intriguing in that regard. But the way that they did it, like just making Molten Core harder and, like, the raids harder, I don't think that's what really vanilla is about, right? It's not really about, like, making it just more difficult, right? You know, that's not the whole point, I think. 40-man's rates are bad. From an organizational, I think you could say that word. From a standpoint of making raids and pucks, which I do quite a lot, 40-man raids are a nightmare. They're horrible. They may be epic and really cool, but organizing 39 other people absolutely sucks. Okay? It is horrible. It is absolutely horrendous. But it is fun to do 40-man raids. It's very epic, but it's horrible to do. That's my take on that, okay? If you're the one leading it, right? Because there's 10 healers you gotta manage. There's like 4 or 5 tanks, 3 of which are kind of useless because they're on the bench half the time. Then we have the 15 billion warriors and rogues that want slots, and it's just, oh my god, it's so much stuff.
Another year of casually leveling the odd character in the open world, perhaps with some new things to discover, that maybe could work a little bit better.
Yeah.
And please, I hope we don't get the Wrath talents in vanilla. These trees are designed around having 71 points to spend.
Oh, God.
51 points would be just as, if not even more restrictive than the Kata trees, as practically every class will have to go all the way down the tree to get their final ability. But
it would have to be simplified.
That is just me, and they're not making the game for just me. They're making it for a player base they think will want to play it day in and day out. Remember, Season of Mastery 1 came out on November 16th, 2021, a few months after TBC dropped, and back then it didn't feel like long enough had gone by, but with a whole
leave talents alone, just balance them. I think if they just made more specs viable in vanilla instead of, oh, you have to play Fury Warrior, you have to play Resto Shaman, you have to play Holy Paladin, it would be fun, right? And it would be pretty dope. And I said this before, like, if they did vanilla and then changed some of the specs and some of the classes, how they felt, and maybe did a Scarlet Crusade raid, maybe opened up Grim Patrol, maybe Emerald Dream, something, right? Like, something new, instead of just changing, like, how Lucifron works. That could be fun. It could be fun. Maybe not.
Expansion between Classic and Wrath, I think for many, things are starting to feel a little bit different now. I've said it before and I'll say it again, if they do more seasonals, or when perhaps it's either a no changes release, fan servers have shown time and again there will be an audience for this, or just go all out with changes, much more so than was the case in Season of Mastery, because at the end of the day, it's seasonal. There's an expiry date on the server. It's not going to be the be-all, end-all for Classic forever, and if you log in or read the changes and think, wow, I don't like this, you just don't have to play it, because the next season might fit you a little bit better. But I think clearly there's a ton of interest and players wanting to be given a solid enough reason to go and try Classic again. With Error slowly growing, people beginning to reminisce on Classic, we just need that little push to get excited about it again. And
true, you need a little bit of a wait before you can get excited for a refresh. Did they change any bosses in Nax or SOM? I don't know about Nax. But I do know they changed bosses in AQ40. They did like a hard mode for Cthulhu.
For me, hopefully something bigger and better than just the word fresh thrown about. All in all, I hope that time and effort is put into a good Seasonal Mastery 2, or whatever they call it at the beginning. I am really liking the content in Wrath at the moment, but the longer we go on with current expansions, the closer to retail we get, and the closer to changes which turn many people away from the game in the first place we get. The whole point of Classic and the seasonal servers is to offer a different experience and protect the design pillars Blizzard have described some time ago around the world being important, protecting social engagements and so on. It's already been 3 years since Classic dropped back in 2019, and picture this, in another 3, at this rate, we'll probably be doing dailies on the Isle of Thunder. Classic and seasonal servers may all be in the past, but I think they're also going to be an important part of this game's future. That's everything today. Let me know your thoughts on it all, whether you're looking forward to a Season 2 or whether that is all in the past for the time being. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I'll see you all in the next one very soon.
Very soon. Well, there it is. I think I'll link the video in the chat, guys, if you all want to give it a little like for Willy. He makes some nice nice videos for sure. There it is, dude. Fresh vanilla servers are so dang fun. The initial grind to from level 7 is 18 just to do your first dead mines is pure sex. Honestly, it's true. Like, leveling on a fresh servers, you can say I'm a broken record. You can say, oh Guzu, you're so addicted to vanilla. You can say, oh no. I love fresh, okay? There's a reason why I played on so many fresh servers back before I streamed and everything like that. I loved it. It was so fun. Leveling, finding your first green bag, finding a rare for the first time, going and doing a dungeon with fresh people, everything mattering. That was so fun. It really was. God damn it. Enjoyed it. I'd run a classic server, all the different specs are viable, perhaps token like in Nax, but also one for specializations like this other in TPC. That could be a good point too. I think when people ask for Wrath talents, it's not necessarily cloned copies of the trees, but the ideas behind the talents. Abilities and buffs that let many classes perform far better than they once did. Even if they did a giant talent tree, the DK starting zone is a great example of how they can give talent points to alternative means like quests. That's true as well. Like, Index put a little comment. I really want this to be true. Vanilla is my favorite version of the game. Congratulations, you won a giveaway. Text me on Telegram. Wow, you want a giveaway, Index? That's crazy. It's for Willy. Oh, I really... Dude, I love Index, man. I love Index. It would be cool, though, okay? Like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's the vanilla freak in me. But, god damn it, fresh is fun, guys. It's always super fun. And it would be interesting, obviously, but... yeah, I don't know. I'm also really enjoying Wrath, though, to be fair. Wrath has been a lot of fun for me, too. And yeah, there's multiple sides to the stone, I guess, right? Can you say that? I guess you can now. Can take some talents and make them skills so you can buy a lot of stuff.